It's not easy to get Shashi Kapoor out of his retirement, but this is a special week, the publication of a long pictorial memoir, The Prithviwalas, which tracks the record of the famous touring theatre company Prithvi Theatres that the late Prithviraj Kapoor set up, and that tremendous legacy that Shashi and Jennifer Kapoor built upon with the establishment of the Prithvi Theatre in Bombay. Thank you so much for joining NDTV 24/7.
Thank you for inviting me.
This book is your baby. You've been the inspiration and driving force behind compiling this tremendous record of a theatre movement, a family, its commitment. How did it originate?
You see, for years I was thinking of doing something like this should be done. A book like this should be written. I didn't know who would write it because I'm not very good at writing, but I'm good at remembering things and being able to go into periods which were even before I was born. So I needed somebody to jot down my blabberings. So eventually it was Roli Books that asked me if I should want to do a book with them, for them. So I said yes, I'd be only too glad, provided they had a writer. They said they'd get a ghostwriter. I said no. I said don't get a ghostwriter. I'll speak to the writer, whoever it is, and give that name. So we eventually got hold of Deepa Gahlot. So she was ideal.
Prithviraj Kapoor comes across in this book as a very larger-than-life figure.
He was. I have not met a single person that comes anywhere near him. Not because he was my father, but even detaching myself as a son, even as a member of the Prithvi Theatre, if I just look at him, and I have not yet met anybody like that. He was not only strong and tall and handsome and good looking. I mean, he was like a Greek god when he was young, but he had this amazing quality in him and patience in him to bear, to withstand, to accept any kind of calamity, sorrow, pain, and not show it on his face. I remember the time when I was not doing well in films, and I would be very unhappy because all my films kept on flopping right in the beginning of my career in the early 60s. And I'd go to him and I would say, why is this happening to me? And he would, oh, theek hai yaar, figure ki karda hai, don't worry about it. He was a terrific guy.
One of the most unique features about Prithviraj Kapoor, this great star of the 40s, and yet despite this stardom in film and being sought after by every film studio, he really did virtually give it up to establish Prithvi Theatres in 1944.
I think Sunil, he must have imbibed all that love and affection and fondness for theatre during his college days. Of course, besides being good in studies, Papaji was also very good in tennis and football and things like that. I think it was Edwards College, yes.
But still, it was a very brave and courageous thing to do, to really put his reputation as a screen idol on the side and start this travelling repertory, the first professional company in India, and to carry on for 16 long years with this gigantic troupe.
It's amazing. I was, of course, only 6 years old when he started the company. So that was my first play. Shakuntala was my first play, which he staged. Then he had 7 more plays, productions, which were original. The thing that was marvelous about Prithviraj Kapoor was besides his fondness for the theatre, he was also very, very fond of the people that worked with him. So it was like an ashram. We had about 100, 150 people there. And
traveling to remote parts of the country.
He would go, can you imagine, he staged shows in Nagarcoil in Tamil Nadu. Of course, they didn't understand a word, but he played there. And little did he know that years after that, in 1960, his film Mughal-e-Azam would do thundering business in Tamil Nadu. It's amazing. And of course, it's doing thundering business now. He would earn from the films and finance the theatre. And there were times also when he couldn't afford to finance the theatre. That's the time when he approached his sons, who by that time were big stars, Raj Kapoor and Shami Kapoor.
What's also unique about Prithviraj Kapoor's career and Prithvi Theatre is that he was commissioning his own plays and scripts. And plays like Diwar and Paisa and Gaddar, which were huge hits, were very prescient and had the pulse of the political moment. Social issues,
There were.
political events, and that's what gave them their resonance, didn't it?
His second play after Shakuntala was Diwar. In Diwar he foresaw the partition. Can you imagine that? In the first act he showed a family, very happy, very rich, and then suddenly towards the end of the first act come few foreigners. The second act is how gradually the foreigners take over the running of the place, and these two landlords, are corrupted by these people.
So it's really an allegorical.
It is completely allegorical, and this was done in 45.
I read in this book that the reason he called his travelling company Prithvi Theatres in the plural was because he hoped that every town in India would one day have a stage and a home for travelling companies.
I didn't know about this till Zoraji told me, because Zora Sehgal, one of the members of the old Prithvi Theatres, had asked Prithviraj Kapoor why he named his theatre Prithvi Theatres, why not Prithvi Theatre? And he said that I would like, every town and small village to have a small theatre in India, which never happened. Lots of things didn't happen. After his demise, Jennifer and we decided that we should do it, and in fact I forced Jennifer to do it. I bullied her into doing it, and then she did it.
But you yourself had a very long and hard apprenticeship at the old Prithvi Theatres, and then you really slogged through the ranks, didn't you, as stage manager, lighting manager, business manager?
I don't think I was a business manager, but
this book has your account book of every in every town.
I mean, I used to keep a logbook which would put down the house also, how much money we collected.
But what were those years of slogging through the Indian countryside like? Travelling all the time, learning?
We all travelled in the third class bogie. We had several compartments, and my father also travelled with us. He didn't go by air, he didn't go by first class. We all travelled together. I experienced a variety of things which helped me later on, and I'm very proud of that, very happy about it.
And not just you, but your brother Raj.
He did more.
They all went through it.
Mr. Raj Kapoor, in fact, when the first play started, he didn't have an acting part in it. So he looked after the music, he looked after the sound stage, everything else.
One of the great coincidences of your life is that it was through Prithvi Theatres that you became involved with a parallel English company, Shakespeareana, run by Geoffrey and Laura Kendall, and that's how you met Jennifer Kendall, your future wife, didn't it?
Absolutely right.
How did that happen?
It was in 1956, I still remember, my God. And it was sometime in August, we were touring Calcutta. Calcutta was a very good station for us, because the people in Calcutta really love the theatre, love it very much. And then Hindi theatre was very good. And to top it all, a theatre with stars in it, like Prithviraj Kapoor and Raj Kapoor and Shami Kapoor and Prem Nath and all these people in it. And so they would love to. So we had extended our stay at the Empire Theatre, which still exists in Calcutta. And I was the assistant stage manager at that time. I was only 18. And though I didn't think I was only 18, I thought I was much older. And I peeped through the curtain. We had a little hole, and it was the prerogative of the assistant stage manager to see how the house was and whether the audience was packed or not. And I would see one very beautiful looking blue-eyed blonde girl coming every day after day, sitting on the same row and with lots of other Angrezi people. And I wondered why and how. She was very beautiful. And I thought she was Russian. So then I discovered that she belonged to Shakespeareana Company, who were waiting for us, Prithvi Theatres, to clear out. We had extended our stay to clear out so that they could start performing at the Empire Theatre. And they were staying very near the Empire Theatre, the Fairlawn Hotel, where I stay even now. And so I convinced my cousin. I didn't have the guts to even approach Jennifer. I was so shy. But I convinced my cousin Subiraj. So he took me to Fairlawn and he introduced me to Jennifer, who paid no heed to me. And we met again after some time in Bombay. And that's when it all started. And I was in love with her right from the beginning when I saw her. But she, I think, took some time.
You had parallel careers in film, very successful careers in film. And really, all the profits went into theatre, or at least supporting it and helping each other. How did this happen when you became a star in the 70s and a top star? What was it that led you to repeat your father's example?
There was a debt to pay for all the happiness, for all the joy I received from being in the theatre. So I treated it as a debt. So when he passed away, I told Jennifer that we must make Prithvi Theatre. And I arranged for the finances. And most of them were mine, you see.
Your film earnings?
Yes, my film earnings. And then some film people also helped me in the beginning. Amitabh Bachchan helped me for a few shows. And Babu Kapoor, Ranbir Kapoor, and Rekha, Shabana, Shekhar. All these people, they came. Sanjeev Kumar, Vinod Khanna. They all came, and we could collect not much, but little money. Those were the days when we were shy to even charge much money.
You tell a story in this book saying that at the height of your career in the 70s and 80s, at the 80s really, you were working 4 and 5 shifts a day in the mainline industry, and that it really became too much. Is it a very hard-driving industry? What was it like to be a star?
It's not the industry. It happens automatically once you are very successful. It happened to Amitabh Bachchan also. But then Amitabh Bachchan realized, and then he stopped taking films. And in fact, he took a sabbatical and he went away and he said no for some time. And then he came back into the film. But for me, maybe coming from the theatre, I thought that this is it, so, make the most of it. Now, there were some films which I did free for people who were on the stage with me.